It's pizza night, and I am trying a new recipe for a thin crust pizza. Now, this recipe does not call for yeast. It uses baking powder and salt and water instead. It's very similar to the Weight Watchers 2-ingredient dough, if anyone is familiar with that. I did see some recipes that called for milk instead of water, so I think you could do that too and it would still be very good. When I read the recipe, it said that the dough is supposed to be shaggy, and I had never heard of that term before, so I had to look it up. Turns out a shaggy dough is just one that hasn't had time for the gluten to develop and become smooth and elastic, like a yeast dough would. So this dough is going to be just a little bit kind of crumbly and rough around the edges when you're done mixing it. So don't be surprised, it's supposed to be like that. So after I mixed this up and kneaded it just a little bit, I let it rest for about 15 minutes or so. And I let my oven preheat in the meantime to 450 degrees. So that's a really important temperature. It helps the crust get really crispy. So you can make these pizzas on a pizza pan or probably on a pizza stone would be great. I didn't have either one of those available at this moment, so I just covered my cookie sheets with some foil and then I lightly coated them with some oil. I've found that it's pretty important to cover any surface that you think that the dough might touch, because if it sticks to the foil, it's not going to come off. So just make sure that you get oil all over your foil if you use it. So I'm pretty familiar with the 2-ingredient dough, and so I was expecting that this might be similar. When you're spreading the dough, it will be very hard to get it to move without it sticking to your fingers. So I just used some water here, and it really helped to move that dough around on the pan without it sticking. And that way I could get it really into a large circle and make it as thin as possible without ripping. Now, since it's February, I wanted to do something fun for the kids. And so one of the pizzas I made just a regular circle, and then the other one I made into a heart shape. And it turned out okay. I mean, I think I could work on my heart formation just a bit, but I was okay with it. So after the pizzas were formed, I just put them into the oven for about 10 minutes to kind of partially bake and crisp up a little bit on the bottom before I added the toppings. I was pretty pleased with how this looked when it came out of the oven. It was already starting to crisp up. It was very thin, and I was looking for that cracker-like crust, and I think I achieved it with this. Whenever I put toppings on pizzas, I always think of when I was a kid. We would go to Noble Roman's Pizza, and they had a big window where you could step up on a platform and look through the window at the people making the pizzas. And they sometimes, if they were really good at it, they would throw them up in the air and do all the fancy stuff. And then they would dress the pizzas with their cheese and toppings and everything. And I just remember always thinking that was so cool and that I wanted to work there someday. I don't know, that really made a big impression on me as a kid. It's probably why I decided I liked cooking. Do they still do that anywhere? Make pizzas in front of you so you can watch them? I don't know. I haven't seen it anywhere. Anyway, so here I am putting the toppings on. And I had seen this idea where someone had taken pepperonis and made them into little hearts, and I thought that was a really cute idea. So I thought I was going to be smart and double all the pepperonis up and go faster, but that didn't work so well. So I would recommend just doing them individually and taking your time, because it really turns out a lot better when you do it that way. And overall, I thought this pizza was really cute when I was done with it. I like to do festive things that are inexpensive. So it's February. I wanted to do some heart stuff. So this is a cute little way of just incorporating the season and making dinner fun. And I also like to buy little plates and cups and napkins and stuff like that are seasonal from like the Dollar Tree. It's not very expensive, but it just kind of makes things fun. Okay, so here they are, and they're getting ready to go in the oven. I think I baked them for about 15 or 20 minutes. Make sure they were totally crispy, and they came out pretty good. It crisped up nicely in the oven, and it got even crispier as it cooled. So if you like thin crust pizza, try this one out and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for spending your time watching my video. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and tell me what you'd like to see next. Bye!